happy? Do you feel healthy?
I told you this was gonna happen.
Do you feel healthy?
I think all the fried foods have come out. Well, guys, I think it's safe to say that I have failed the puke fruit challenge.
Oh my God.
Did you even eat any of it?
Oh yeah, she's halfway through
You
hers.
want to see a real man?
Oh my goodness, let's see it. Oh! All right, all's fair, all's fair. I'm gonna try some.
Are you really?
Give me some.
Be careful. I mean, he's serious.
There's no worms in this,
No,
right?
no, there's not.
Here, somebody hold
Someone
it.
needs to hold the camera.
Oh my God.
And there's the puke bowl for you, Mark.
It's really bad. Swallow it, swallow it.
Swallow it.
It's really bad. It's really bad.
Told you.
Oh my goodness. It's like bad cheese.
Yeah, worse than that.
All right, Coyote. That was awful. I'll agree. Bad.
I think
Not a
it's
good
safe
fruit.
to say that the puke fruit
Oh.
definitely lives up to its name. Jennifer, you won that one. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave. Stay wild. We'll see you on the next location. Oh, that was so gross.
He just put his hand in the puke.
Eating a puke fruit was pretty disgusting. But was it as bad as drinking prickly pear juice from a sweaty sock? If you missed that one, make sure to go back and watch our zombie juice episode. And don't forget, subscribe so you can join me and the crew on our next location.
Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and if you can't hear the excitement in my voice, then, I don't know, retune your YouTube or something. So, we don't need to show my ugly mug, we really don't, although we do need to change this light. Stop. Stop. Right, so, Ryzen, yes, it's coming. I'm genuinely, at this point in time, not sure whether I'm allowed to make this video, so it may disappear, so watch it quick, all of that sort of stuff. I know there have been some leaks and stuff online, but I did manage to get this. I've not got it from AMD, I've not got it from Asus, I've had to use other sources to try and make this video for you. This is one of the boards I'm really excited about seeing. Now there is a fair bit of information online, but we're going to go through it. I'm going to give you a proper look around the board as well, and then we can also have a look at some of the specs that are on the box, because when we look at some of the specs that are on the box, it does give us a bit of an insight into what we might be seeing in the next week or so after the official launch for Ryzen. Now this isn't a CPU review, this is because I don't have a CPU, I don't think anybody does in the UK at the moment. But this is going to be a fairly in-depth look at the Crosshair 6 Hero. So we're going to start with the board and we're going to do some speculation with that, and then we'll actually have a look. Sorry, start with the box and we'll have a really good look at the board as well. So when we have a look around the back, it's got about CMOS flash button and all sorts of stuff like this. Now, one thing that we can sort of show you is AM4 socket for AMD Ryzen 7th generation, but it also says here A series stroke Athlon processors. So we can kind of, we know roughly about this online, but it's never really kind of been said in like an official manner. But AM4 is going to support all the CPUs. So you're not going to have, with Intel, have 1151 and an X99, everything's going to get supported. So for argument's sake, what you could do is you could buy this board and a cheaper processor and then upgrade to a more expensive one later on. it does give you a lot more options. And the other good thing with that is then it does give you a very solid upgrade path as well. And we know by AMD's history in the past that it's not like next year they're going to change this socket, not like Intel would have done. So you genuinely could, if you wanted to get a more expensive board at the start and then upgrade everything else later on, that is definitely going to be a hardcore option for you. And you're probably going to get a lot more life out of it as well. And we come down here and we look at the memory. There has been a lot of talk about ECC, but this board is non-ECC. We can see that it supports a max of 64 gigabyte, and it's got DDR4 here. So we knew it was DDR4 anyway, but it's got 2666, 2400 and 2133. And then the A series down here. So basically the Athlons and not the full-blown Ryzen Mega ones. You can see here that they're up to 64 gigabytes and that's 2133 only. So that's going to be something that's limited by the CPU by the looks of things. Again, this is all just going by guesswork on the box. And then we've got something here about HyperDIMM support and subject to physical characteristics of individual CPUs. So that's going to be the speeds that you get. So it does say here that the memory speed support is going down for CPUs. That's all nice and good. We can see here that we've got 2 times PCI Express 3, thank the Lord. We haven't had PCI Express 3 on AMD before, so this is all good. And what you can see as well is it's 16 times for the top lane, and then 8 times if you want to go crossfire, or if you wanted to dirty your PC and go SLI. And then Ryzen processors and the AMD X270 chipset, you can see down here. 1 times PCI Express 2 times 16, which I'm going to assume is this little one down here, the 16 times slot down here. And then you've got 3 times PCI Express 2 times 1, so that's the little half end ones. It does say it does support SLI and Crossfire, so it's good that it does at least support SLI and it's not locked down by anything else. Intel LAN, this is all going to be Asus specific stuff. M.2 supports them all, and it's PCI Express 3 times 4, so it's going to be full speed M.2. You get quite a lot of SATA ports, and then the rest is kind of like Asus specific stuff. So we've got that, lovely jubbly. Inside the box, there wasn't a great deal going on, to be honest with you. It was, you get the normal Asus stuff, so you do get so you do get the coaster. Now, if you're thinking about buying some cable mod cables, we do have a code here, so be prepared, get the time to pause and write it down. If you want to use this code, you can go and get yourself, and it will be first come, first served, because it can only be used once. You can get yourself 20% off of cable mod cables there, if you would like. If you do, please post underneath. I would love to see. The last guy that got one of these, he actually posted his rig on the forums. It was awesome. So that was all good. You do get some like stickers and stuff. But there's nothing mega going on in the box. You get some SATA cables, you get your M.2 screws, you get an SLI bridge, the I.O. plate for the back, and then in this side it's just SATA cables. Nothing major in there at all. So nothing mega to shout about, but look! Ryzen logo! So the board itself, we can have a good, deep and dark look around. So I'm going to zoom you in and I'm going to do my best to show you as we go around the board. So first things first, the power. You can see there's a lot of chokes around the outside of that board, so there's a lot of phases. Now, you might not need it for the lower end CPUs, but that does mean that you're going to get plenty of clean, clear power, plenty of it as well, going into the CPUs for overclocks and stuff. And it also does mean if you've got more phases like this around the outside, that they're not working as hard as if you only had a few of them. But you've got all of that around the outside. Power up on the top corner, you do have an 8 and a 4. One thing I will say though is you don't need to add the 4 in if you don't want to. You can just use the 8. This is kind of like extreme overclocking and stuff like that. In all the reviews I've done with all the huge overclocks and stuff that I've done in the past, I've never had a need to actually add that. It's there if you want to use it though, but you just need to think about it as another cable. Coming along this top edge, what we can see is you've got the CPU optional and CPU fan, and then that's an AI pump header. You've got a PCI code readout here. This is your RGB header for the top of the board. There's another one on the bottom. So with that, you can plug that into any of your RGB products, RGB lights, RGB fans will come in as well. There's lots of options for you with that one. 3D mount connector or screw, that's so you can screw extra stuff onto the board. 24-pin power. USB 3.1 front header. Cases will catch up eventually. You've got another fan header here. Coming down this side, this is your water pump section. So you've got flow in and out here, and then this is another flow header here. So this is basically for like water pumps and stuff, so that it can read in the OS. You get another RGB header down here, another proper water pump header down here. This water pump header does up to 3 amps as well, whereas the AIO pump header up here only does 1 amp. You've got your M.2 connector here, and it does do up to a 410 length on it. Down the bottom of the board, USB 3 is right the way down here. There wasn't another one up at the top. ROG extension. Now, little tip, this will count and act as a USB 2, because there are no other USB 2 internals on the board, so you've only got this one. If you've got AIOs and power supplies and all that sort of stuff that does require internal USBs, NZXT actually do an internal USB hub. Connect it to this one, hook it into the hub, and then you've got like 4, maybe 6 outputs with the hub, so that's well worth a gander with you on that one if you're going to run into problems. I've actually got a couple of the USB hubs in the office when I do quick builds and stuff, just to make my life easier. So it's worth spending the 20 quid if it's something that you're going to need. Down here you've got a retry button. Sometimes when you do your overclocking, things might not boot the first time around. You're on the raggedy edge, and rather than doing a full restart, you literally just hit that, and it doesn't mess with, you know, sometimes it will hang when you restart. It says, oh, it's not booted properly. Well, this literally is just a clean restart. Safe boot, this basically boots you straight into the BIOS at some predetermined safe settings. You could set your minimum overclock that you're happy with, and then you're trying to push past it. You can save all those settings yourself. Simple reset button, start power button. Got another power fan header here, and there's another fan header here. Looking down the side, you've got Supreme FX. You can see a lot of the audio grade Japanese capacitors down there. It is actually kind of covered up as well. We can see that you've got trails inside and behind that. We don't know whether there's going to be any extra LEDs or anything here. Quite easy to see that this is going to light up, and when you look inside, you look along the top, you can actually see the PCB up there as well. So we know this is going to light up. The other thing I like about this board, I think this actually looks better than the Z270 version, because they've got these kind of markings and engravings on here. I think it just gives it a nice edge, and it does add to that kind of nice subtle contrast going on there. So what we do know about this, 16 times lane for your graphics card. If you run 2, you've got 8 times and 8 times, very kind of Z270. This is PCI Express 2, but there is 16 times lanes available to it, but when you look inside, it's actually only wired for 8. These are all PCI Express 2 as well. So if you run one graphics card, you can run stuff in these ones and it won't affect anything else, because that's all done on the chipset by the looks of things. Other things that we can kind of look at and around, we know it's only quad DIMM, but round the back it does come with BIOS flashback. BIOS flashback is this one is BIOS clear. When you do BIOS flashback, you do need to change the name of the BIOS that you download if you're going to do it to the latest one. One thing I can say though is if you open your driver CD, right in the root of the folder, you'll see something, and it'll be, for argument's sake, I don't know, it might be C6H or something like that. C6H, because for argument's sake, X99 Deluxe 2 was X99D11 or II. And basically, then you can do your BIOS flashback. Because I've not got the IO shield out, but it'll be one of these. I'm going to assume it's going to be the very bottom one. But we've got a lot of USB around the back. We've got 4 USB 3s here, another 4 USB 3s here, USB 3.1 with an A and a C, Intel Gigabit Ethernet, and then there's 4 USB 2 there, but something else that we can see, which may be a hint of another board, is the fact that there is a connector in there, which I'm going to assume is going to be for wireless and Bluetooth. So this may not be the highest end board. We might get, I don't know what came above Hero before, but it could be the Crosshair 6 code. I don't know, this is all going to be speculation, but you can definitely see that there's a connector there which would normally be for wireless and Bluetooth, and it's not there. And you can actually see that the screws would be there as well. So there could be another one above it. There's no M.2 or anything around the back. There you've got the much larger mount on this one, but something that I did want to show you, and it's something I've not seen mentioned enough yet. You can see there's a second set of holes because AM4 is different to AM3, but this has two lots of holes. Okay, so with the bracket removed, what we can do is take this back off, and you can see that there are clearly two mounts. Don't worry about the extra nicks taken out of there because they're on both sides. It is actually part of the design, but it does mean that it supports AM4 and AM3 brackets. I've got an AM3 bracket here, we can slide in, and you can see it goes in the closer mounts. Now this might not matter to a lot of people, but there isn't an enormous amount of AM4 support with coolers at the moment. Corsair, for example, are still dithering, and they've not made specifically clear what's going to need a new bracket and what's not going to need a new bracket, because some of the coolers mount using these tabs, and they basically latch onto the tabs and they mount in that way like the old H100Is. But some of them you do actually have to use the ones that go through the board, and those would need new brackets. So the good thing is it might not matter about using an old cooler that you've already got, but what this does mean is it allows you to use coolers that are already on the market. So you can use you can use anything that supports AM3. So that's epic. So there's a lot of really nice things that are already seen on this board, and yes, there's a lot of speculation, and I don't know whether this video is going to be up for very long, so I don't know whether I'm going to get told off and I've broken some sort of NDA. So there's a lot of ifs, ands or buts. But one of the things I can say is I'm really, really excited to get testing this, and we can see just how good Ryzen really is. Should Intel be worried? I think so. Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today we're going to be taking a look at a mechanical hard drive. Don't tune out, stay with me, because this single drive in my hand is 10 terabytes. Yeah, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 6, 8 was big, nah, 10 terabytes in a single, what we will call an enthusiast level hard drive. So it's the Seagate Barracuda Pro. And amazingly, because you know, like with hard drives, you kind of get the screws all over the top. So these little puppies are actually sealed, because they're filled with helium as well. So it's all super kind of technical, more logical stuff that's going on. But 10 terabytes, there's, I have to admit, the information for actually what's going on inside is a little bit hit and miss, because of the way that the platters, as in the discs, and then the heads are reported. Some say it's 14 heads and 7 discs. Some say it's 7 heads of 14 discs. But I would have assumed that you would have needed at least 1 head per disc. So we're going to go with 7 discs, and there are 7. When you look at a mechanical hard drive, you get like the little mirrored disc that's inside. This has got, we're going to go with 7, which seems to be the considering the space. 7 inside, they're 1.4 terabytes each inside. Now, one thing I will say is, with the mechanical hard drive, we've been reviewing solid state drives for so long that when it came to the mechanical, it was, you know, undoubtedly, it wasn't going to be the fastest thing in the sheet. But for a mechanical hard drive, they've spent a lot of time with special cache on these. So any programs that you might keep using continuously, it holds that in the 256 megabyte of cache on the drive to help speed those sorts of things up. Now, with the cache going on and testing with small files and stuff like that, we were getting above 250 megasecond reads and around 240 writes. If you were to flood the cache and stuff like that, sometimes you can get it to drop down a lot more. And the other thing to think about with a mechanical hard drive is because of the disc. Think about it as like an old vinyl record spinning around, and this drive will spin it around at 7,200 megaseconds. When you're writing on it or reading on the outside of the drive, it'll be quicker because the outside of the drive is moving faster. But then when you get towards the inside of the drive, filling it up, then they can slow down a little bit. But obviously 10 terabytes, I mean, we'd be there for ages trying to actively fill it up. Now the one thing you'd think that where you've got 7 platters spinning around in there, and it's obviously you've got all the heads spinning, that you'd think it would use quite a lot of power. And you were looking at they report below 7 watts, and it can fall down to 3 watts for idle, which, to be fair, unless you're running loads of them, which 10 terabyte ones, surely you're not going to have like massive banks of them. Power use is pretty low, and you'd also think that the motor noise would be quite noticeable. Now, I'm a bit of a silence freak. It's just something I spend a lot of time tuning fans in. I want things to be quiet. Now, if you're one of those people that leave your rig on overnight and you like everything to be perfectly silent, I will say if you're running a solid state drive now and you don't have mechanicals, then you are gonna find them quite noticeable. It was very strange for me to have the whir and the clank of a mechanical going on in the office again when we were testing this. Wasn't excessively loud though, and I actually went back and I dragged out some older drives that we had kicking around, including some old 1 terabyte ones from about 5 years ago and stuff like that, and some up-to-date ones which I borrowed. And to be fair, they're all much the same. There was a lot more going on in this one because obviously, like I said, you've got those 7 platters and the 14 heads. So when it was searching and doing stuff, it did get a little bit noisier, but we were testing it in like an open air kind of scenario. Once you got it in a decent case with the side on and stuff like that, it wasn't too bad. I will say that you do need to make sure that you've got sound, not sound deadening, but some kind of damping going on with it. If the cage that you put it into before it goes into your case is even ever so slightly loose, then the vibrations will pick that up. So it might be worth you kind of exploring other, avenues. There are some mounts that you can get in the aftermarket